episode last week. Not that we want to live in the past, but it's probably good for us to evaluate.
I want to reminisce back to that episode. I liked that episode.
Oh,
it was
you
nice
did? Okay.
Well, two reasons. Cal's obviously a friend of mine growing up and stuff like that, so we have lots of memories and stuff. So that was pretty easy. He was a good interview. But I also liked having Joe around. He was a good ad. He's a goober.
Yeah.
We all have our own personalities and our own way that we deal with each other when it comes to teasing and timings and stuff like that. So it was fun. It was long.
Yeah, it was 2 hours. And we had the taste test in there.
We sure did.
Had Cal, as you said. We had Joe Bob on the couch with John and Drew and you and I. And like you said, it's always kind of fun to get, the more the merrier. It really is.
Yeah, and I'm surprised we could fit 3 grown men on that couch.
And speaking of Cal.
Yes. Oh, yes. Cal had his second daughter, Maisie Lynn Handel.
Okay.
So his brother just had his son, Bridger. Cal already has a daughter named, let me think about this for a second.
I was surprised
her name
that she
is
the newest daughter.
Well, it's Maisie Lynn. Yeah, well, it's fresh on my mind.
Yeah.
So the other one,
she's the older sister.
She's the older sister. I'm sorry,
sister.
Cal. I'm really sorry right now. I should know this.
But now you got to give a shout out to his wife because she's the one that actually had the baby.
Yeah, true. Cal did not have the baby. Kylie, his wife, Kylie.
Congratulations.
So hopefully she's doing well, and sounds like everything was going as planned. Man, that's really gonna bug me that I can't remember.
Well, it'll come back to you.
Yeah,
as
when it does, I'll just blurt it out.
Yep, just do it because it'll be worth it. Because Cal's a buddy of ours.
I got Maisie Lynn right there. Yeah, it's right there.
Yep.
So, anyway, what do we got this week?
Well, I'm going to have more do's and don'ts. My do's and don'ts. This time a do.
A do.
What I do, and we've got local businessman and entrepreneur, business coach Scott Johanek.
Scott Johanek, and you met him down at 1855, right?
Yeah. He's had a part in that.
House. Okay.
And so, we'll talk to him. He's got an interesting story and a local businessman, as I said. And what else do we have? Well, we never know with
the couch taters.
What he's got up for
He always
us.
surprises us, whether it's this day in history, weird laws, California, or state facts.
Yeah,
That's
state
what I
facts,
was trying to say, but I said California. So something like that will be there. So it's 19th episode. We've almost gotten to 20. So maybe we'll just give up right after this one and call it good. Yeah.
Got to keep going.
Probably not. So, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Bill DeWees, pro voiceover talent and voiceover career coach. And this is the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the original Father-Son Voiceover Podcast. I'm Hudson. That's my dad, Todd. This is our 19th episode, and we're going to talk about all things voiceover and a little bit more. So, Dad, you've got some Todd's tips, some do's and don'ts. I think you've got a do here, so let's hear what you do.
Yes, I've been sharing do's and don'ts, and also before I do it, and I promised, I think this is my 5th do's and don'ts segment. We're just going to keep going because there's a few more. But Demond is always sharing some caveats, some things that just make you understand that I'm not telling you that you have to do these things. They're just things to evaluate. And they're things that I do, but there are some things to me and my background and all sorts of things like that, my current situation, that might be different than yours. So you just have to evaluate. But don't, as you see those there, don't so quickly just say, well, you know, he's this and he's that and he's this in this spot in his life or his career. Because some of these things are, I think, pretty cross voiceover. You know, they're supra voiceover talent.
Before we start, will there be any Todd Stuff love? And if there is, will you be warning people?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm just not sure people could really tell the difference between my tips and my tough love. So I'll tell you if I start to really think I'm going to get tough about something, and then we can do a countdown and we can make sure people understand that, it's coming. So here's one of my do's and don'ts. It's a do. I do immediately, and I put that in quotation marks, and I'll explain. I do immediately get back to my clients with revisions. I do that. Now, here's something that I'm not sure we really think about, but I've thought about this a fair amount, and this is why I do what I do. We talk constantly about marketing to potential clients, and then, of course, getting back in front of current clients. And of course we should. It doesn't matter what kind of marketing you're doing. You need to get in front of potential clients, stay in front of warm responses and, people that have used you in the past. But one type of marketing most people don't consider marketing is revisions and getting them back to the clients ASAP. I try to immediately get them back. There isn't much that makes clients happier. And this is what I found over I guess I'm starting my 13th year. August 1st was my anniversary. And so I'm starting my 13th year. There's not much that makes clients happier and keeps them coming back than turning revisions around quickly. Yes, revisions can kind of be a pain. I don't know if that's how you feel. Oftentimes the revisions that I get back, I don't get paid for. And so you kind of put that job down, put it in the books, you invoice it, and then all of a sudden a week or 2 weeks later, hey, the client changed some things. Can you do these revisions? And so they can kind of be a pain. And yes, revisions are part of an ongoing project with a current client, of course. And yes, revisions may seem to be more like customer service. Right? I mean, they're a customer, you're just serving them well. But here's the thing. You need to think of the revision process as a marketing touch. That's how I think of it. A marketing. And it's how you serve your clients. You want marketing, let me just say this. Marketing is showing your clients how you can serve them and how much they need you. That's marketing. How you can serve them and how much they need you, in a nutshell. Isn't that what marketing really is and what it's all about? Here's an illustration, and this is why I do this. Oftentimes we say that voiceover is the last link in a chain of events. Do you understand what I'm saying by that? Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, there's certain links in a chain.
Right.
And so it's the last one. They have the script, they have all sorts of other things in place. And then the voiceover is the final thing that they put together for the full project.
Yes, exactly. They've gone to the ad agency, maybe the video production company. They've written the script. They've done the branding. They've worked it through committees, all of these different things. They made the video and now they say, now I want a voiceover talent. And so they look. And that's why oftentimes we're like, we need this yesterday or we need this today. And that's truly how it is because we're kind of the last link in a chain. And so oftentimes, here's my point, oftentimes the project is held up if we hold up the revision process.
Sure.
So they might be sitting there in the editing suite with the client saying, oh, here's an edit. Let's get that back to Todd or Hudson or whomever and hopefully get it back right away. And if I can deliver that in sometimes, if it's a few sentence, I drop what I'm doing at that point. Unless I'm in a live directed session, sometimes I'll finish a script. But if I'm doing a long narration process or in the middle of something or taking a little break, I'll hustle right down there and I'll get right to their revisions and send them on quickly. And that makes them so happy. I can't tell you, every single week, because I do this regularly, every single week I get, wow, you're amazing. This is amazing. You're so fast. Thank you for getting this back to us. And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that's what you can do to not only serve your clients, but stay on their mind and say, that's the person I want to work with in the future, because they get things back to me right away, especially revisions. And so personally, I basically drop what I'm doing and return the revisions as quickly as possible. Sometimes, again, if it's a few sentences, within a half an hour. Secondly, if I can't get it to it, maybe there are more revisions or I'm in the middle of something, I just type them an email and say, hey, got your revisions. I'll be getting back with you quickly.
Those are two things that are very rare in the voiceover world. Getting back to somebody right away, or, getting the revisions back to them right away.
Right.
So communication and customer service, which two things you don't think should be a problem.
Right.
But that's something we've learned.
Yeah, and it sets you apart from the others. And again, remember, these are opportunities. Yes, they're being client-centric, but they're also saying, for the next time, use me again, because I'll be there to help you. Yeah. I'll be there to serve you. I'm going to do this
You're
fast.
top of mind for me. Yeah,
exactly. So there you go.
Well, are you guys ready to do our numbers?
Yep.
Johnny's here. So let's start out with what happened in VOMP land.
We had 38 warm replies. We had 13 just before I got here, but we had one extra one that looks like somebody in our group is going to be looking to get somebody contact them for an audition or at least some samples and stuff for a potential job. So I think she's got a good chance at it.
So 13 auditions, you said?
14 in
14
total.
auditions, okay.
This was Joe's writing just before I got over here. And then just before I got here as well, we were notified that there was another job. So we had a total of 3, not including any of yours or Hudson's. But Todd Haskell, Bill DeWees, and Randy Scott. So
last week it was Girls Week, and this week it was Boys Week, I guess, huh?
Yep.
And like we always say, sometimes people get busy, reported jobs, yeah.
Yep.
And so Randy's was a recurring client, which is always, that's always fun to hear, because it's great to get the new ones. You have to get new ones, but keeping the older ones, the recurring ones, is huge.
Yep.
And I was going to ask you, last night, you and Joe were talking about a pretty substantial opportunity for VO Marketing Pro, and I think the production company, who they want auditions.
Yep.
And we don't have we have the dollar amount, but we're checking on some details, and we wouldn't say that anyway. But what was my point? 5 male, 5 female talent from our group are getting a chance to audition, or that's a real good chance, right?
Correct.
Any other details? I mean, I know we have to be careful because they're under non-disclosure.
Yep.
And so...
Yeah, we had to sign one, and then I think...
As a company. Yeah.
And then I believe each talent will have to, even before they were to...
I asked Joe this. Did we find out how they got a hold of us? Was that a direct email regarding like our roster, or was that did they just find us?
When I was in VOMP headquarters this morning.
International,
yeah.
Yep.
We had to go there sometime.
Joe was actually talking with your assistant, Andy, because they were trying to figure out exactly how that, because sometimes there's crossing wires a little bit, because Andy sends out for us with regards to our roster, and we were just trying to nail down how we got that. And Joe had Andy on speakerphone, so I was able to hear it. Mm-hmm. And they both, Andy was taking some time to look through it, and he just said, "Can I call you back?" So that's last I heard. It was a cliffhanger for me, but it's possible that Joe has gotten an answer. So yeah, we'll find out here. But yeah, it's an exciting opportunity, I believe, for our group.
So we'll try to keep everybody up to date on what happens. Maybe it'll be next week. But with some of these bigger jobs, I noticed in the information, they're kind of going through like levels of different things, as far as this is going to be the first level of this, and then they're going to maybe cut down on the number of candidates, and then they're going to do another session. And so it's a fairly good sized job and sounds like could be a pretty big payoff. So
Yeah.
hopefully VO Marketing Pro, somebody from VO Marketing Pro will get it. I think we have a good chance of it. And
Yeah.
didn't
It
sound
helps.
like anybody else was, no other agencies or anything.
No. And it, one thing with us is that because we're a smaller company and because we want to get people work, obviously, Joe was really quick. We were talking about that last night as it came in. I think I asked him like 20 minutes later and he had already gotten back with. So I hope our promptness, we want to get people work and we're working hard to do that. So hopefully it seems to pay off when people find us and like we're a newer business. So you take some time, but I think people will enjoy working with us, but then to have the great talent that we have as well too. So I think it'll be a great combination and we'll keep working hard to build those. Because if we build them good when they first get a hold of us and take the time and are urgent and good at communicating, I think it'll just prove and it'll just get more work in the future too.
Yeah.
So
Our goal with our voiceover roster especially, but just with the people that we email for, is to have production companies and ad agencies come to us and not only be recurring, but kind of search us out.
Correct.
Have us be a name that they can trust, if you will,
Yep.
because we have vetted, established voiceover talent. It's just not anybody can come in and be a part of our group. And so that hopefully makes us very professional. Our size, that we're
Yep.
small, there's the personal touch. So, and we've got great talent.
yes, we
So
do.
That's
We
it.
sure do. You want to hear all about my week?
Yeah, I do.
Well, as we talked about last week, I had my biggest week last week. And this week, not so much. I had 0 jobs for my email marketing efforts. I had 0 auditions. And then I had 5 warm responses, separate from yours. Didn't get anything on Upwork, but I did land a $300 job on Fiverr.
Oh, go.
So
that's good.
it's 5,000 words. So you could do the math there. I'm just looking to work. So if some people say, I'd never, do that. Well, if you had a week like I did this week, then you would work for it. So anyway, $300 on there. And then I did some editing for you, which has been few and far between lately.
Yeah.
So I was glad to have something to do this week, other than my normal efforts on Upwork and direct email marketing. So I ended up with a total of $520. So it's not a terrible week. I had worse.
Yeah, $100 a day average.
Yeah, but
Nothing like last week.
Nothing like
but-
last week.
Well,
But
we've talked about that before too, Hudson, is like when I was first starting out in the first year or two and really doing a lot of direct email marketing, my weeks would go like this from day to day. It just wasn't stable. And then as I got further and further, then it would be more months where I'd have a pretty good month. And then because, I had to cut back on marketing because I was busy, then, a month would go by where I wasn't so busy. But as you get more out there and get more recurring clients and get people using you regularly, it just goes more like this. And your ups and downs aren't as drastic. So here you had a week last week of what, $1,500 and this week $500. Wow, that's $1,000.
I made money
difference.
though. That's
you made money.
That's what I'm
Yep.
glad about. It's better than 0, and I'm just gonna keep going.
Well, and what you're doing is you're following what I did, and that is if you're not busy, not that you're going to just take anything, but if it's something that's decent and you're not going to cheapen yourself, if you will, in a bad way, you're going to want to work because you're going to want to fill up your time. So I'm glad for you. For me, I kind of bounced back a little bit more. I had a couple of low weeks in a row. My platforms this week, $2,066, and my direct email marketing clients came in at $4,358.85. My total, $6,424.85, $6,424.85. But just one thing before we end, I had 2 new clients in a matter of 2 hours. That's never happened before.
Wow.
2 brand new clients, but they were both unique. The first one I had been cultivating, actually Andy, my assistant, since 2017, and they finally just came back and said, we'll use you. But there was another one that we first contacted in 2020, And they said, hey, will you do this generic sample and we'll put you on our website along with some other people. It happens to be the same exact sample that everybody uses. And that's what they do from time to time. So that people coming to visit can actually hear the same exact words done by different voices. And so I think it was late 2020, so a year and a half ago, and a client finally chose my voice off of their voice roster or what they have available. And so they were two different things. They just happened to land in my inbox within a matter of 2 hours on Thursday. So I had two brand new clients. I booked 2 jobs this week. Hudson, you didn't have any, but that put our VO Marketing Pro up to 5 this week. So those are my numbers for this week.
Nice. Is that all we got?
Yep.
Awesome. Next up, we've got our interview with Scott Johanek. So join us for that next.
Hello, everybody. Mom's here. Dad's here. I'm here.
Are you doing it right now?
Yeah, and the boys are right there. They didn't want to be in it.
And you say we're at the Packers. That's how you say Wisconsin.
Packers. Yeah, we're right here in front of the frozen tundra. There's Lombardi. And there's the Packers. That's okay. I'm not a big Packer fan, I guess. You're watching the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the original Father-Son Voiceover podcast. I'm here, Dad's here, and we've got a special guest, Scott Johanek. Did I say that right?
That is correct.
Awesome.
You're one of the few who get it right the first time.
Well, I watched your YouTube video, and that's where I got it from. So I heard you say it, that was, got to be careful with that stuff sometimes.
So, Scott, you're a local businessman. You're a real estate agent, a real estate investor, an entrepreneur, a business coach. Is that? Did I hit all of them? Or?
Licensed general contractors.
I think
licensed
general contractor. I missed that one.
But otherwise, yes, you summed it up.
You're a man of many hats.
Yes.
We'll get into that in just a second. But just about your name, there was a long. I don't know if anybody has said this to you. How long have you been around Mazo now?
Almost a year.
A year. Has anybody ever talked to you about your last name? And there was a family name, there was the Johanning family that lived in Mazo for many years. I went to school with the oldest girl, Diane, and they lived down on Bridge Street, where the Murphys live now. The Murphys, they have the what is it? The window.
Yeah, Murphys.
He's a contractor, a window contractor type guy down there on Bridge Street. Is that on Bridge Street? Yeah, that's on Bridge Street.
It's the same street that DeWees live on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, on Bridge Street.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway, they have the last name, Johanning, and yours is Johanek. What is the ethnicity behind that? Do you know?
Czechoslovakian or modern-day Bohemia.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yep.
How many, do you have any ideas? You talk about you came from a 5-generation family farm up in Shawano.
Correct.
Any idea when your descendants came from Czechoslovakia?
I do not know. I've only heard a few stories from like my grandpa, like when they came over on the boat together, like he faintly remembers it. And I think he came over in like 1920. So he would have been 7.
Wow.
Because talked about most of the neighbors that are still in the neighborhood now that they started farms. They came in the Bay of Green Bay and worked their way over.
Okay.
So my guess would be early 1900s.
And in one of your videos, you say that Shawano is where in the state?
Yeah, right in between Green Bay and Wausau.
In between Green Bay and
Yes.
Wausau.
Yep.
And are there a lot of Czechoslovakian, Polish immigrants from that area?
Around us, there's a lot of Czechs and a lot of Germans. So I'm half German, quarter Polish, quarter Bohemian. So we have a lot of Polacks and Germans, so a lot of stubborn people in my neighborhood. It's really what it amounts to, is a lot of stubborn farmers.
I thought that was just for us Norwegians and Swedes and Germans down here. Yeah, I get it. No, you were a farmer growing up.
Yep.
You were a farm kid.
Yep.
When did you leave the farm? When you went to the UW?
Yeah, so I graduated high school in 2009. That's when we sold the cows. So I have one brother who's 5 years older than me. He was already at college at UW-Madison. And I was the last sibling left. There's only 2 of us. My mom worked out of the house and my dad worked on the farm with me. So like when I came home, I helped with chores, milk cows, things like that. And when I graduated high school, we just kind of said, there's really no way that he could do all this on his own. So I think it's just time to sell the cows. We still have the farm. We still rent out the land, have equipment. And, my dad's as retired as any dairy farmer will ever be, which means he only works 70 hours a week instead of 100.
Yeah.
Tinkering and doing different things. So,
yeah.
How many? Go ahead. You were going to ask how many acres there were.
Well, that you can answer that question, but I was wondering what was the top number of head that you milk?
So the top number of head we milk was about 40. So we were a small family operation, about 200 acres. Stanchion barn, and I can remember when we finally got like the vacuum system, it was the big deal. I only ever got to use it. My dad told me stories about milking by hand and and they used to have the big bucket in the middle of the alley and stuff like that. But we milked about 40, had about 100 head of cattle between heifers and some steers we raised and things like that. So
now, did you have to, with being a farm kid, did you have to choose? Did your dad say, hey, now there's a certain time that I need you home to help out? Did you do sports? And if so, did you have to choose which sport you did, or was it a little bit
Yes.
more?
So the stipulation pretty much was that I could not play football, mainly because my brother's already in college. And he said, if you break your arm, you're not here to help with hay. So I played basketball and I played golf.
Okay.
And then I pretty much played more golf all through high school. I played a little bit of basketball growing up into high school, and then golf I started freshman year, and that's what I still play to this day the most. So
there's, of course, this was a big dairy area as well. All the kids that I went to high school with, most of them were dairy farmers. One of my buddies, Roy, his parents, the first time they had a week off was their 25th wedding anniversary. That's the farm. That's the dairy farm life. So when you say your dad's retired and working 70 hours a week, it's like,
100%. Growing up, our family vacation was like taking a day to like Rainbow Falls when it was open, which is sort of like a little water park an hour from us. But like we never had weekend vacations. Like cows got to be milked in the morning, cows got to be milked at night. Very few times would we ever have somebody come and help. Like when my brother graduated and he had to walk across the stage, like I had to milk cows, but we had people helping in certain situations like that. Yeah. But it wasn't anything weird to you. It was just normal.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't really go to like the movies with friends until like college. And I didn't know that was a weird thing. I was just like, I just had to come home and I'd come home, I'd do chores, I eat, I do more chores, I do homework, I go to bed. And on the weekend, I just don't go to school. I just wake up, do chores, work, and do whatever we got to do. And you just kind of get used to it.
I wonder if that, so you're a pretty busy guy. So I wonder if that at all, do you think that had any correlation with how you fill out your schedule and stuff like that now?
I definitely think so. I don't like to be bored, and you just like to challenge yourself, and you always keep busy on a farm and try to tinker with anything you can. And it's just, kind of where your interests get piqued.
Yeah,
for sure.
How did you get into what you're doing now? Was that from going to the UW, or was that something that you saw somewhere else and you thought, someday when I get off this farm, I want to do that?
So my story, once I graduated high school, I went to UW-Madison, got my degree in mechanical engineering.
Okay.
I went to Augusta, Georgia for 5 years as an engineering manager for John Deere, designed tractors, managed some engineers down there. I'm the guy who kind of got sick of the corporate world. Didn't really like climbing the ladder. It wasn't for me. I think a lot of that stems from being on a farm, which is like the quintessential entrepreneur. They just sometimes don't realize it. And came back here, raised some venture capital, worked in the tech industry for a little while. That didn't work out. And then I said, the other really like passion I have is real estate. I became an engineer because I wanted to work with my hands growing up on a farm. I loved welding, building things. And I'm like, I want to take that into the world. And I did a little bit of that with John Deere, but then you just end up managing people, which was awesome. But when I came back to Madison and things like that, I said, I just want to pursue my passion of real estate, and started flipping houses because I like working with my hands and love working with tools, and just thought, I can kind of learn anything from reading or YouTube, and it's kind of never looked back from there. So that sort of steamed into, flipping 7 houses in a few years. And then friends start calling you up saying, hey, can you help me find a house or sell a house or teach me real estate? And you get connected with more and more people who love real estate because it is like an industry of passion, and you just start making connections, and here we are today.
Isn't it interesting when you grew up a farm kid? And I'm not that way because I didn't grow up. I grew up around all farm kids.
Sure.
But you really get, if you're paying attention at all, you just have to be handy.
Yes.
Because you got to fix things. You got to fix. Otherwise, you're always calling people. It's so costly. It's so expensive.
Yes.
So you got to be a carpenter. You got to understand motors and engines. You've got to be able to fix. Like you said, the welding and things like that. You didn't know you were probably growing up. You were being trained all those years to be an entrepreneur and also to be handy with your hands.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, you kind of think it's normal because we had farms in our area. Like obviously I went to high school and had friends that lived in the city, as big as Shawano is. It's not really a big city, but it's just kind of one of the things you just took for granted, or maybe I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have as a younger person. And as you get older, you have a much more appreciation for that, like the family you grow up with and things like that. But it definitely helped me excel in engineering. The first 2 years is all bookwork. So I don't like school. So that was tough to get through, just reading and memorizing formulas. But once we finally got to like senior level classes, you design stuff, you build it, you test it. That's where I excelled and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So
just real quickly, you talked about an older brother?
Yep.
Is that the extent of your family, your parents and two brothers?
Yep.
Okay. Got it. And, so you're, and I kind of wanted to walk through those a little bit and then get to some other more specifics. But like, for instance, you do real estate investing, you are an entrepreneur, a business coach, and a general contractor. What, like, maybe they change all the time, but like what percentage do you do of each? Can you have kind of a rough estimate of like, I do 50% of this and then 25 and 10?
Sure. I spend about a third of my time as a traditional quote unquote realtor helping people buy and sell real estate. I spend about another third of my time as a real estate investor and another third of my time as a business coach. That's primarily where it breaks down now.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't do any flipping of you as far as you doing the physical manual labor?
None right now. So I would put that into the third of real estate investing. Sometimes I'm swinging a hammer, but typically now I like to just hire out subs and coach people through flipping houses. So instead of flipping them myself right now, I have a couple people that were flipping a house in a Reno right now. That's their first one. Oh, cool. So I'm teaching them the process and answering questions and things like that. Because real estate's one of those things, like the best way you learn is just by doing. You have to make mistakes. You have to screw up. You have to buy the wrong stuff. You have to kind of get knocked around a little bit. And then you learn a lot. It's just, unfortunately, the way real estate is. You just have to do it.
So as a business coach, like what are some of the things you do? Is it mainly in real estate are you doing, or is it just a general kind of life business coach? Just
typically it's more in the trades and in real estate, insurance, mortgage, or like, I would say like trade craft. So I've had clients that were, underground axial boring companies, lawn care companies. Right now, I primarily work with like a larger insurance company out of the Milwaukee area, but really it's more focused around organization and optimization of your business. We'll just use this client as an example. Kind of came to me and said, hey, I'm sort of hitting the ceiling of my capabilities. I want to grow. I don't know how. So I came in there, organized, in this case, a lot of things digitally, hired a new person, optimized, automated a few things, and really helped them leverage technology in this situation. Other things in the past have not really been business issues, but more HR issues, where it's like, I'm that guy who sort of says what everyone's thinking, but nobody wants to say. Because it's got to come out and you just got to be honest and blunt about it. And like that company's issue was an HR problem where people didn't respect some of the management. And we finally broke down to that and had an open conversation about it. And, things like that, or, that's one of the major things I took away from John Deere. It's a very, very well-run company. It's very well respected. And, when you're managing 1,000 parts and sometimes $20 million of like their R&D spend and 10 engineers, it's like you focus on all these different stools of the business. And when you learn all that and sort of actually got to use it in a practical application, I can really take that from what I learned there and learned in real estate and sort of compile it all, because it's just got to be creativity and conversations is where you can solve most problems.
Yeah. And so as far as like an investment real estate, what does that look like? Do you like put up the capital, if you will, and then you hire the subs in to flip the house and then you get a portion of that? How does that all work? Is that okay
so my journey started as I was swinging the hammer. I didn't really, I had just lost a company, was sort of at like the bottom, we'll say, in my life. Didn't have a lot of money to my name. Found some friends that said, hey, I want to learn how to flip houses. I'm like, I can do the work. I have the time. Found another friend who had a family, put in the capital on a credit card. Another friend who had a W-2 income, bought the house. I swing the hammer, didn't really have any capital to put in. We split profits.
I see.
Took that to another house, did it again where I did a lot of the labor, split profits. And now it's sort of split between active and passive, being I'll put some of my money into the house to flip it and hire subcontractors out, or now I'll invest to other people and say, well, here's the return I want. I'm also here to help you as a coach, answer the questions you have, so that way my money's more secure, and do things like that. So it's sort of has its progressions.
Yeah.
You know.
And as just the traditional real estate agent, I got on YouTube and looked at a house that what you would be the agent for on Bridge Street.
Sure.
And, you know, growing up, of course, there was just the sign and you had to go have an open house. I know those still happen.
Yep.
Now on the internet, you know, there are pictures.
Sure.
But you have, and I know this isn't brand new, but you have a photographer that does
like a
this
virtual
kind of, this
tour.
kind of zoom in, and it really helps you see the house clearly. And you got the grounds there, and it's just alive. And you've got music, and I think some birds, you know, singing and chirping and stuff like that. What goes into doing, you know, something like that? Do you do some of the production, or do you just say, nope, I just, you know, kind of represent the house, and then I just hire people to do all this stuff?
Yeah. Again, it's a progression. So when I used to, you know, started, I took the videos myself, all the pictures myself, learned how to edit some of them, edited them in my own video editor, then had money to go hire people on Fiverr, right? Which I'm sure you guys can appreciate in the voiceover world.
Yeah, we do. Yep.
And then now I have a professional photographer that comes in and takes the pictures, and he's a licensed drone pilot that takes them, and he has his own team on Fiverr that edits the videos, edits the pictures, does that. And then, you know, here's the final product. Do I approve or not? And then here's some adjustments I want to make. So again, kind of like real estate, my philosophy was I want to flip the house myself and swing the hammer because I know what goes into it. So that way I really understand what work other people are doing. One, you have a better appreciation for, and two, you can kind of call BS when you think it's an erroneous number. And you can say, well, here's why I've done this. Here's an example. And you just have the knowledge set. So, but he's a way better photographer than I can ever be, because he's a professional. He does what he does. And his video editors are professional, top notch. So,
and he's a guy on Fiverr. Does he live in the area?
So the photographer lives in the area, and I think he said his video editor is in, oh man, I had a conversation with him, Sudan, I think. So he's not even in this country.
Yeah, it's
and
amazing.
he was talking to me about, you know, he looks for these people who are on the opposite schedule so they can edit while we're sleeping. And he said, you know, the other day his editor reached out to him and said, sorry, I can't make this timeline because they have rolling blackouts where he lives. So he's trying to raise money to get a solar panel so he can turn his computer on and it can run all the time. It's like, these are things that you just do not think about,
not
you know?
at all.
So he was like, oh man, like I will give you the, you know, I don't know, $1,000 or whatever it was for, you know, so that way this photographer bought him this solar panel. So that way it's like he can edit, because they have all these problems you just don't think about. You know, and these are people who just like, you got an amazing skill, and it's like, it sucks that you have this barrier to showcase it to the world.
It's amazing you can hire that out. I mean, there's people that hire out people to edit for them, their audio and stuff like that, or what the marketing for them. They'll hire it out from some other country.
Websites, logos, copywriting, virtual assistant. I mean, we have, both Hudson and I are on Fiverr, offer our voiceover services. But there's just all sorts of stuff, and those are the types of things. And a lot of our clients are UK, Asia, China, Russia, Ukraine,
India.
all of these different places. Yeah.
Well, it shrinks the world.
It does.
It really does. You know, you're able to bring your skill sets to so many people so quickly.
Yeah.
So I actually have a question about Fiverr for you guys, if you don't mind. So I haven't been on Fiverr. Well, recently I was on it this month for, you know, local citations and some logo stuff and things like that. But it was probably 4 months since I've been on it. And I noticed an extremely large progression of higher end price gigs. Like last time I was on Fiverr, seeing a gig over $300 was kind of rare. And now I see ones in the thousands, 2,000s, 10,000s for like video editing and things like that. Is that more recent than I realized, or did Fiverr change rules?
Is that possible? I don't know if you remember when you went through that. Did they have like were they like a Fiverr Pro? Did it say?
Yep.
That's maybe you can. I don't know. I've only been on Fiverr for a
my
year and a
oldest
half.
son John, he manages my Fiverr because I'm busy. But I know that they have different levels. Like I'm a top-rated seller.
Okay.
But they also have Fiverr Pros.
Okay.
And they start at a certain minimum amount, where everybody else can start kind of where they want to.
Sure.
For instance, like a voiceover talent, they could start at it's kind of supposed to be $5 increments. And so they could start at $5 for 100 words or $10 for 200 words or whatever, and go up the scale. So I don't know what it is in different industries, like the video, there must be kind of a bottom line that they set for the Fiverr Pros. For the Fiverr Pros in voiceover, it's $100 minimum.
Got it. Okay.
And so maybe that's what you're getting into the Fiverr Pros.
Sure.
And you just have to look at the little banner below them. You know, you can find people on Fiverr that are working their way up that are really good.
Yeah.
But you can also find, which we found, that people aren't the greatest because there's not a whole very high, bar of entry there. So I don't know if that's what it was for sure, but that's interesting.
That's what that's the only thing I could think of right away was the new Fiverr Pro.
Yeah.
Which we stay away from.
Yeah. It's a kind of a long story, but yeah, I make quite a bit more money not being a Fiverr Pro. And at least in the audio side of it, it seems like there's not enough higher end clients that go to Fiverr, at least at this point, that will be able to pay that minimum amount. And so you might be better off just being able to kind of negotiate underneath that minimum amount.
Gotcha. So it almost sounds like it's agencies that are pro, like they're a company.
Yes,
Now
they
you
have
can
to be
hire 'em.
invited, just so you
Oh,
know,
wow.
where everybody else can, come on. And they either, like one gentleman that I know who's quite a famous voiceover talent, he was invited by Fiverr to be a Fiverr Pro. Some people work their way up and then they're invited, but I don't know what the situation is from that end.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm sorry we don't have a tremendous amount to offer you, but maybe that gives you a little bit of insight.
Yeah.
Just the voiceover world. That's all we know. We don't
tiny
venture
little- our
out
tiny little-
anywhere else.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Mazo? I mean, why? I know Mazo's not far from Madison, obviously, but what from Shawano to Georgia or to the UW to Georgia, now back to Mazo, tiny little Mazo?
The thing that brought me to Mazo, I was looking at a property. I was just about done flipping one in either Prairie du Sac or Mount Horeb, and came across one in Mazo, Maine. Honestly, never really heard too much of the town. Like drove through this way a little bit, but I don't typically head out west that often. And came through this town. I was looking at a different property than I have now downtown, and honestly just fell in love with it. I was like, man, this is the first town I feel like I should have like a 6-shooter on my hip. Like it just has, it has a history. Like you can tell that it has a story.
Yeah.
It's just like, you almost hear like the saloon doors like getting kicked open. Like it just has that vibe where like, this is cool. This has some history, and you can just tell that it's like ready to be alive. So I didn't get that property, but during that conversation, the person I was working with was like, well, this building will probably be coming for sale again soon. Like, are you interested in this one? And I said, sure, let's go take a look at it. Did that. And that's how I landed here. So,
well, we've got maybe about 7 or 8 minutes here. And I was going to ask you about, you said when we contacted you, you said, you called the Mazo movement.
Yep.
Is that just a term that you've come up with, or is it an official term of some?
I don't think it's an official term anymore. That's just what I. That's just what I.
And what
dub it.
do you think about? I mean, what are you thinking when you say the Mazo movement? Is it to try to revitalize the downtown? Because when I was a kid, it was bustling. There was all sorts of stuff.
Yes.
I mean, cars.
Yeah, I would sort of just classify it as awakening the sleeping giant, right? Like a lot of people have always said, come to me and said, Mazo feels like it's starting to wake up and be alive. And it's like, it's just to me, it's just the movement, right? Like downtowns, a lot of people, I just see this in real estate and in the real estate industry, a lot of people are starting to move away from like the bigger cities. They want to sort of be local, but close to things and, pay less, have good schools, whatever it is. And you're starting to see this just huge migration just in general, but Mazo itself like has just that small town vibe and that geographic setup that most places don't have.
Sure.
Like you have so many like between the river and the Black Earth Creek and then like easy access to Madison. It's 20 minutes to Middleton. That's not far. And it's just one of those things where it's like very perfectly positioned. And so many younger people are moving here and just, they're ready to they have a lot of energy and they're ready to put it in and they're ready to push. So the movement to me is kind of like, we have the snowball started. We have newer shops. We have, coffee shop, tap house going in, apothecary across the street from us, and everything you kind of need. Like I was at the gym today, that's across the street from me.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd really rally for around here is a grocery store, but that's me.
True. Yeah, we don't have
driving
much of
15
that.
minutes to a grocery store is sometimes frustrating, but
Growing up, there was, if you came out your back door of the 1855 coffee house, you came back there just right across the street. There used to be Traeger's grocery store. And it was a big enough grocery store where you could have all of your needs, didn't have to drive to Madison. So we put our podcast out on what's happening in Mazo, the local part. And of course, YouTube.
Just a small, we did just a small one.
What?
Just the small, who we are and what we do, and then just a small clip from
but we'll make sure that that Scott's is on there.
Bad.
So Scott, as far as all of your ventures, how do people get a hold of you? They can just go to YouTube. They can go to type in Scott Johanek.
Yeah, so you could Google Scott Johanek. I should show up, but the easiest way is scottismyrealtor.com. That's my website where you can contact me, see some properties. Always revamping that, adding stuff there, and then Facebook and YouTube are both at Scott is my realtor.
And just spell your last name. I mean, we'll have it, and we'll have links and stuff like that.
Yep.
But
Johanek.
Yeah, we'll have Damon put it right.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll go like this, and he'll put it there.
That's why I just say Scott is my realtor. Easy to remember.
Yeah.
You'll find me out there.
We'll have that right in front of you.
Yeah.
See,
Damon will do
I'm
that
of
for
the
us.
old school where you have to spell things out because you don't have all these different things. So I'm on the radio still.
Yeah.
But now, just for a few minutes, what do we got here? Just about 3 minutes.
Yeah, probably
Just talking just a little bit about the 1855 coffee house.
Yep.
Michelle is your partner, and you're an investor in that, but she runs that. And I know we weren't going to talk a lot about that. Hopefully we'll get her on here sometime to talk about that. But that's a great place. I get coffee there once or twice a week, and you got food there. And anything you want to say about that or about that building or anything?
Yeah. So Michelle was, flipping houses with me. She quit her job as a vet tech about a year ago. And when we came here and looked at the bank, was like, upstairs, we want to turn into our condo. This is a really cool spot, and I kind of said, what do you think for the main level? And she was like, Mazo Maney down here needs a living room. And that was her whole vibe around it. And she's never ran a coffee shop before. She just started digging in. I said, I can build it and I can help you do stuff like that, because that's what I have experience in, flipping houses and stuff like that. I said, besides sort of a coffee snob here and there, like I know what coffee shops I like when I'm traveling around, but she just sort of took it and, I taught her how to raise some money, talk to investors, build out the business plan. Let's look at, some of the finances and stuff like that. And she's just been crushing it and excited about it and learning a ton. And we're really excited to see that people enjoy it down there. And, some people always come in and ask, like, well, what's 1855? Which is the year Mazo Maney was founded, which is what it's named after.
Nice.
So
That's a good touch.
Her whole vibe there was when she walked in there, I said, figure out what we want to do with this lower space in the bank. And she's like, I think a coffee shop's right. This downtown needs a living room for people to come hang out with, whether you're chatting with old friends, new friends, knitting, playing games, hanging out, or just grabbing a quick coffee on your way to work. And that was her dream. And she put it together, and I said, I'll just swing the hammer and build some stuff for you.
Well, you did a great job. I mean, for a guy that grew up in Mazo all my life and went to the bank there with my parents and, went in and did the deposit myself when I'd make a little lawn mowing money around the farm or something. Yeah. It's nice to have the bank open again. Yeah. And there's enough of it. You still got the vault. Yeah. There's enough of it that kind of looks, you know, like it should, and yet it's a coffee house. So you did a nice job with that.
Well, thank you. That was 100% our goal. Was number one, we wanted to be able to people access the vault just because it's a cool feature. I mean, the tin ceilings and all the woodwork was phenomenal. I tried to not touch too much of that, where it's like it stays enough of the bank, has a nod, but obviously we couldn't keep the green carpet because green carpet and coffee don't mix very well. So we had to get rid of stuff like that. But like the coffee bar itself is actually the old teller stand. I just shrunk it down and made the pieces to fit to look like it. So it's like, we wanted it to still have the same vibe, but sort of new life, right? Part of the movement. It's waking up.
Well, thank you for being with us. Thank you for the energy you bring to our podcast and to Mazo, and we'll see you around town at the gym and stuff like that.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Next up, we will have our couch potatoes and whatever Drew has for us. So join us for that.
live now? So just one quick announcement. Executive producer Hudson said that this segment can only go a half an hour. And so let's tone it down just a little bit. Not quite as much fun, and I won't tell the stories that the listeners and viewers just love. Mm-hmm. I'll cut back on that.
Yep. Okay.
And Drew, just be careful how much stuff you're sharing there, because
How do
even
I
if it's
sound?
really good stuff.
Am I all right?
Yep.
All right.
How about me? Honestly,
Plenty good.
plenty good, really?
Yep.
Joe wasn't the best
Huh?
when we were. That's better when he gets up closer like that.
Yeah, so we're here. Drew's here. John's here. They've got the main table. They're the mainstays. And then Joe's here again. And Dad's in the middle.
They were saying
Potato in the middle.
They were saying before
Okay.
we came on that those are the worst chairs.
I didn't
That you
say
picked
that.
out.
No, I didn't say that.
Can you handle that?
I can handle it. I bought them.
Yeah.
You
They're just
couldn't
hard to
handle it
sit
off
on a
camera.
little
If
bit.
Drew wants nicer chairs, he can buy one.
He couldn't handle it off camera.
What don't you like about it?
They're not very comfy. They're just they kind of restrict you to this much, and then you kind of sit like this, and I don't know what to do with my hands a lot of times.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm up here because that's kind of comfortable. Other times I'm here and that's kind of comfortable. But
I've got one for you. Turn your things sideways more, your chair. Rotate it, yep. And then pull your other thing the other way.
Microphone just a little bit farther over.
oh,
Well,
nice. Oh,
and,
yeah.
and I think if this is episode 19, and
It
I think
is.
if people were to look back,
There you go.
I think if people,
this is so much more comfortable.
It
Wow.
probably is.
I think if people were to look back,
These aren't the worst chairs. I just needed to
They're the
change my
best chairs.
perspective.
yeah.
Now they're the best chairs I've ever sat on. Just like that.
But I think if people were to look back at all of the 18 episodes, they would see me uncomfortable
I think
in
so
that
too.
chair over there.
Yeah.
And that's why this is so nice.
Yeah.
I like being here.
You're that
Sorry, I didn't-
you're that Oreo commercial.
Yeah.
Squeezed in the middle, smack dab.
I don't know that one.
Oh,
In the middle.
yeah. That was what
Just nice
the
to
the
hear you
cream
sing,
was.
though.
The cream was singing that.
No way we make it in 30 minutes.
Joe Bob is back again,
Yep.
and we almost talked to Sean,
Yep.
Yeah.
the
He's
final
warming up.
member. Yep. Yeah,
I don't know if we were that close.
He,
I
well,
think
he
we
said
were
he wants
that
to be
close.
all in. He doesn't want to just come up and introduce himself.
what
He
that
wants to
means
be
is I'm not interested. That's what that means. Is I'm not really interested.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Colorado. So
Oh,
that's
back
the
to
states.
states.
We're back to
Okay.
states because I wasn't sure how people were feeling about this day in history.
have we all
but
been to Colorado
Yes, we have.
Yes.
We all went as a family.
Yep.
All 8 of us did.
for a wedding?
We all did.
On our way to a wedding.
Yep. So here we go again. You know the drill. State flower is the Colorado blue columbine.
Right here. Damon has it right here.
Oh, hey, just before we go on, I know this doesn't have anything to do with Colorado, but remember Cal and his wife had their baby, and you did, at the beginning, you couldn't remember the
Yeah,
oldest
I
daughter's
remember
name.
it.
You
I
remembered
didn't
it maybe
have to
like a
look it
minute
up.
later.
It's,
Go ahead.
It's Laney Jean.
Laney
It's not my
Jean.
lover. So, from
Billie
Jean.
Jean.
Yeah.
He was singing.
That's how I
he
remembered
was
it.
singing that.
Laney Jean. Anyway,
That's good.
and then they
That's-
had Maisie Lynn.
Easy Lynn. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
two
congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Colorado. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. That's
This just in. I like
beyond
to do
the
those
podcast.
kinds of
That
things.
stuff
Yeah.
was beyond the podcast stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So recapping, Colorado, state flower, Colorado blue columbine. John just gave us the Vanna White hand there.
I'm going to guess that's like a light blue.
You can guess that.
Yep.
The state bird is the Lark Bunting. This black and white bird that makes its home on the plains of Colorado from April to September, then flies south for the winter. So that's the Lark Bunting. Kind of a mainly black and white bird.
Oh, was it light blue?
That was the state flower, if you were following along. The state tree is the blue spruce. Again, another blue
Wait, Hudson's looking up our podcast
on our podcast.
on our podcast.
During
I know,
our
I'm
podcast.
just looking. I'm just looking.
Okay, so this blue spruce was first discovered on
podcast.
Pikes Peak in 1862 by the noted botanist Dr. C.C. Perry. I didn't know him. I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was a
nobody-
noted
What did
botanist.
None of us knew
What does
him,
CC
no.
stand for?
I don't know.
Charles.
Cartwright. Maybe it's Charles Cartwright or something like that.
Well, wait, what was his last name?
Perry.
Perry.
Perry Mason. I don't know.
don't know either. Something for people to
Dr.
look up.
Cook's Corner. Cook's Corner. Wasn't that a TV show?
Could be
Cook's
Cook's
Corner?
Charleston Chew.
Cook's Kitchen. Charleston Chew. Yeah, maybe it was.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where it came from.
He also invented the candy bar then too.
That would make
Yep.
sense.
Yep.
First
Double
discovered the
whammy.
blue spruce as he was yakking, chewing on a
Yep.
Charleston Chew.
Just yakking on
At the time, he didn't even know. It was just chew.
You got to be
And
careful.
then he
though, so you don't
saw,
wanna get too
while he was
much.
yakking, he saw a yak.
There you go.
And he's like, there it is.
You got to be careful when you're eating a Charleston Chew though, to not get too much in your mouth because then it
You can't
gets
chew it?
wild then.
It gets wild.
Very, very, very good comments. We have a state motto of nil sine numine. Probably not pronouncing that. That's Latin, if you didn't know that. For nothing without providence or deity.
Profound.
We've said that before, that when you want to sound like you know what you're talking about, you do it in Latin. Do you think every state has a Latin motto?
I think you've
I
asked
would
this
guess
before.
so.
I
wonder who
would guess so.
started that. I wonder who's thought that's a great idea, and everybody else felt like we're going to sound stupid if we just do this in English. So we got to have a Latin motto.
Does English
What's
come
ours?
from Latin?
What's ours? What's Wisconsin's? Do you remember?
Nope.
We'll get there.
I would be typing that up right now.
Yeah.
Finding that.
If Hudson ever gets us another
Yeah,
microphone,
it's my fault again.
We'll be
The
right
chairs
over
are
there
my
again.
fault. Everything's my fault.
Well, you're the
It's your
executive
podcast.
producer. It all stops.
Falls on you.
But think about it. I mean, people
Like the quarterback on a team.
and
You get too much blame,
He
you
goes
get too
around
much credit.
Nazo now, and like I travel with him, and they don't even know. They don't know me. They know him because he's like the main guy. This is his podcast.
It is
He's
my
a celebrity
podcast.
in our own little town here.
I'm
Really
not
just becoming
sure
the Sun,
that's...
the original Sun podcast.
Yeah, that's what it is.
State animal. The Rocky Mountain Bighorn sheep. Known for their agility and balance and are only found in the Rockies.
Are those the ones that stand on the
They got
the
those
side of the
big-
cliff? Are those that
Probably.
side? And you can see them kind of running down cliffs, and they're like getting away from. There's a video where something's chasing a bobcat or some cougar, and it's running down these. Is that what that is?
I don't know.
It might
I mean,
look
there's
something like
there's
it,
lots
yeah.
of mountain type sheep,
Goats.
but I don't know if
Sheep.
those are the goats or but these are the bighorn ones, with the
Where they
ran
ram each
around.
other.
Yeah.
They slam
Yep.
into it. Yeah.
State nickname is the Centennial State, which I never knew this, but it makes sense now that they explain it. With the statehood being 100 years after the signing of the nation's Declaration of Independence, that's why it's called the Centennial State, because it was 100 years after. That was when the state was founded, 100 years after the signing of the Declaration.
Do you think that that's where Dodge trucks are ram tough come from?
I mean, that's what they have the bighorn sheep on it, yeah.
That's what I mean. So you should do that right now.
What does that mean?
Dodge.
I don't know if I can. What's that?
Dodge trucks are ram tough.
What? I'm not sure what he's referring to.
I think he's saying just do exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Dodge trucks are ram tough.
No, you got to do it like that. You guys should try that.
Dodge.
Or is that like roaring like a lion?
No, I don't think so,
Roar.
but I'm trying to think of
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
Oh,
I don't think I can do it.
Get your
Guts,
Sa-
glory,
Ram.
ram.
That's a good one.
Guts, glory, ram.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a morning voice. Sometimes I can get a little deeper in the morning, and I
Yeah.
probably could do it in the morning. But we're not. This isn't the morning, so I probably will stay away from it. I'll let you guys handle that. The two voiceover
Basic,
guys.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Battle of the Bases is also called Colorful Colorado. That's also a nickname of it. So two nicknames, but the
That's
Centennial
CC.
State.
Colorful Colorado.
Very true. Maybe that was Dr. C.C. Perry's name.
Yeah. Colorful Colorado.
Perry. All right, so we're done with those.
Wonderful.
Here's some fast, fun facts about Colorado. Starting in Denver, Denver records an average of over 300 days of sunshine per year.
Wow.
That's more than San Diego or Miami Beach, which I was surprised.
Never would have known that.
Nope.
No, never. No.
Nope.
Me neither.
Nope. 65 days they're behind the clouds, but 300 days.
They have, of course, they have snow on the ground where San Diego is just like
60.
what would it be like being, not to get off on California or San Diego, but what would it be like to be a weather person in San
Easy.
Diego?
I would think it'd be
80
easy.
degrees, sunny. Today's weather, 80 degrees and sunny.
You could have the 4 degree guarantee, I would think.
Yeah, yeah, you'd win that all
Win
the
that
time.
all
Your
the time,
station
yeah.
never get a
It'd be
boy.
no fun. That's why they don't have it.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I don't know. I haven't watched.
But remember when we were in Colorado, we stayed in
Just outside of Creed.
Reed.
Yep.
Yeah, and we were at a certain elevation. It was pretty high, and at night it would get really cold. It's almost like the warm air was sucked right out of that area. And then during the day, it was, 80, 82? It was hot during the
warm.
day.
We had we had kind of a mountain face that the sun it'd take a while for it to get over that.
We were down in a little valley. Yeah. That's what we were.
Right by the Rio Grande River.
Right
exactly.
on it.
Right on it.
I didn't know ran through.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. Honestly, I didn't.
I knew until we got there.
Until we got there.
Through. Doesn't run
And
through.
we were there in the summer months, just so people were clear on.
We saw a cinnamon black bear.
We sure did.
But we didn't wrestle it.
Nope.
There you go.
Although
There's
there
your
is
wrestling
I don't believe
reference.
there's any law against wrestling.
There's not.
Maybe
We could
have. So, the 13th step of the Capitol building in Denver is exactly 1 mile high above sea level.
Wow.
So that's why it's Mile High State. Well,
Yeah.
Mile High, city. I was going to look up the pronunciation of this word, but I kind of forgot. Beulah, I think, Beulah, that's how I would pronounce it. Beulah, red, is the name of the red marble that gives the state capitol its distinctive color. Cutting, polishing, and installing the marble took 6 years, 1894 to 1900. All the Beulah red marble in the world went into the Capitol, and it cannot be replaced at any price. I thought that was kind of interesting.
It is.
Wait now.
So it's priceless then?
Probably.
Well, wait now.
It's
All the
replaceless.
Beulah, and where does that come from? Does it come right from Colorado?
That's what I was going to look up, and I really should have, but I was going to try to
there's
give
nothing
Joe or our viewers some homework,
Yeah. That's
which
our
we're
job.
all about.
Well, that's kind of deceptive though if they say all in the world and it's only in Colorado. It's like.
Well, but if all of it is the
But I'm
only
just
amount
saying
of
it's
it
just
in
like
Colorado
in one
is
spot. It's like it makes it sound like you scoured everywhere, and you didn't. So you really were lazy. You just
maybe they just know. That's the
I don't know if
only
be
place it
lazy.
is.
I mean, if it's there, I don't know. I mean, you're not
It
gonna
took
go
6
all
years
around-
to build it. They don't sound overly lazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they had plenty of time back
but-
then
it's
to
like
figure
having a
that
cow
out.
and not milking it. Then
Yeah,
Knew that was
but I
coming
tell you
in
what,
sometime.
that would be interesting. I
One of his
wonder.
favorite
I wonder
phrases.
though.
I'm not sure.
I wonder though if they knew that was it,
Yeah.
or if they hadn't, because like maybe it was right near them where they ripped up all of this red granite, built this Capitol, and they said that's all right. We'll get some later, and then they had they needed to have some repairs, and they're
It's
like,
all gone.
where is this stuff? And then somebody said, you used it all up. Oh, well, that was dumb.
who was the person that said that? Was it the person that was
CC.
keeping track of? All
I don't
of
know. You got stories off of my stories that don't make. I mean, I don't know. Nobody's asking that.
Okay.
Joe's asking
He's
it.
digging deeper.
Inquiring minds want to know, and that's Joe.
So anyway, that
I'm with you here, Joe. I'm
Beulah
on your
red
team.
marble can't be replaced. I wonder what they'll replace it with.
Not Beulah red.
Put granite rocks in there, like we used to have granite
Crushed red.
in our little flower bed there.
But
bread.
when you get your own microphone,
Yes.
Yeah,
and
you
you
can
sit
say
at
whatever
that
you
desk
want.
over there, then you can look up these things and you can break in.
Yeah.
And
Breaking
tell us
news.
Yeah.
And tell
Tell
them
us.
that
As long as we
I'm
stay
right.
within 30 minutes, then we'll be fine.
Well, just for this one.
Oh, just this one. Okay.
Okay.
Almost halfway through.
So yeah, we're doing okay though. We're in a good spot
We're
here.
feeling fine.
Denver lays claim to the invention of the cheeseburger. I don't think the city itself lays claim to it, but in 1935, I think it's Louis Bellist of Humpty Dumpty Drive-In was awarded the trademark. So I don't know if he, like the burger itself, I'm not sure, but throwing the cheese on there, he said 1935. That sounds like a good idea.
You wonder if it was an accident, because I know that chocolate chip cookies were made by accident.
So he just
some
accidentally
chick accidentally
threw a-
knocked it over, and the chocolate chips went in there, and she had chocolate chip cookies, and they were a hit. So maybe he was doing something else with some cheese and actually knocked it on there, and
Well, I'm
somebody
thankful
liked
for
it.
it.
Yeah, I am too.
If that's truly where
Yeah.
it started.
But
I'm not
yours
saying it
have
was
to
an
be
accident.
cheddar cheese.
yeah.
You're not a big fan of the white cheese.
No, I'm
American
not.
Cheese
I
is
don't know.
brick.
Which is white.
Brick or, I mean, a white cheddar would be the
Limburger.
same. It's just, well, Limburger. I don't think many people are big fans of.
Dad.
Yeah.
Just a
Stink,
little
your dad would
smidgen
stink
here.
up the.
No, that's
Kitchen with that
that's
stuff every
sharp.
once in a
That's
while.
aged stank.
Okay, let's just keep in mind here.
Okay.
Let's keep in mind that let's just save like a couple of minutes for the end to be able to say why we've got to get this podcast done, and to our producer, audiovisual producer, Demond, so he can put it together. And we're going to limit ourselves to a half an hour because we're traveling this weekend as a family, and we got to tell what we're going to be doing. So
let's get through it, and then we'll get to that.
I felt like you almost teased the whole thing, but that's all right. We'll get to it again.
That's a tease.
The mountainous area of Colorado is 6 times the size of Switzerland. So that's an entire country.
But is it as peaceful?
I don't know
not.
that.
It's a
That's
good
what
question.
Switzerland's got going for it.
Neutral.
Yeah,
It might be
Always
small,
neutral.
but it's peaceful.
very peaceful. We all knew this because of Arizona, our work in Arizona. Colorado's southwest corner borders Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. It's the only place in America where the corners of 4 states meet. We
Not
knew that.
Idaho.
Not Idaho.
Not
Close, but not Idaho.
I should have asked again. I should have said Colorado meets up the 4 corners. What other states, and see if we would have gotten it right again.
I'm not sure I would
I wouldn't have said Idaho because
Yeah.
I was teased mercilessly for making my first mistake in 1908. Well, I don't know when it was. When was that? 16th episode or something? That's a pretty long time to go without making a mistake.
At least being one.
Well, that we know of.
Yeah, that we know
Yeah,
of.
that we know of. We have that disclaimer up there for a reason.
Yeah.
The Colorado Trail is a 500-mile-long hiking trail from Durango, Colorado, to Denver, Colorado, because we're staying in the state. Crossing 8 mountain ranges, 7 national forests, 6 wilderness areas, and 5 river systems.
Wow.
Can you imagine walking that? Woo! 8 mountain ranges.
We have a VOMP, at least one VOMP member out there, Todd Haskell.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also got a job this week.
Got a job this week, but I think he and his wife and his son, Calvin,
Yep.
yeah.
I think that they, from what I see on their Facebook pages, they like to hike some. So maybe
Yeah. The nature people.
Yeah.
Nature people.
interesting to see if he's walked a portion of it or something.
True, we should ask
Probably
him.
has.
Yeah, we should ask.
How many
That was a
miles of the
Todd Haskell
500
shout
mile?
out there.
Huh?
That
Todd,
was a
Yeah,
Todd Haskell shout out.
that
Todd
was
Haskelhoff,
Great
as
guy.
we like to call him.
I don't think
I
we
don't
call him
call
that.
him
I
that.
don't call him that.
What?
Todd, I don't
Todd
call him
Haskelhoff.
Oh no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But
He's a
We're
good
not
guy.
that close.
No,
You're
Not
close
yet.
with Todd.
I'm
Yeah.
very
no,
close.
we're
first
still
name.
hoping to get an invite out there, so we
True.
don't want to
Yeah.
make it Todd
Yeah,
mad.
Yeah.
No. Some people probably knew this. The United States Air Force Academy is located in Colorado Springs.
We went
Nice.
past there.
We sure did.
Yep.
Yeah, that was neat.
That was neat. Yeah. Anyway,
The highest paved road in North America is the road to Mount Evans, off I-70 from Idaho Springs. The road climbs up to 14,258 feet above sea level.
You know what the name of that? The other name of that road is? It intersects
don't.
with the road less traveled.
Is that the high? Is that taking the high road then?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay.
That joke is not. That was joke was not the high road.
Dry jokes. Yeah. I just have a sip of water here.
Joe
It's
jokes.
Oh,
so dry in here.
Yeah, you're sitting right in you're betwixt those two.
Falling
Some
right
people
into
don't
dad.
appreciate that much humor.
Yeah,
I do.
clearly. Leadville is the highest incorporated city in the U.S. at 10,430 feet above sea level. So this is they've got a lot of tall, long records here.
Nice.
10,000 feet in the U.S. The highest suspension bridge in the world, probably should have read that all together. The highest suspension bridge in the world is over the Royal Gorge near Canyon City. It spans the Arkansas River at a height of 1,053 feet.
Amazing. Joe's thinking
he's thinking of his
something.
next dry joke.
You can see it in his eyes. He's thinking, what can I possibly throw in
I'm
there?
just enjoying the reading right now.
Good.
I wish he would use a little bit more energy.
True?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's his personality.
I know it's his
We're just
personality.
ourselves.
Yeah, just trying to be ourselves, man.
Okay.
That's what people are. They're tuning in to watch us be ourselves. This is us.
I feel like you don't get to 19 episodes
No.
with not being yourself.
No.
I think
No,
that,
this is us, and that's why
Joe, this is only
literally
your second
tens
episode.
of people
Yeah.
watch this.
That's why we have the following we have.
How many do you have left?
I got about 10 minutes left.
Oh, pff,
Oh,
easy. We got enough for dry jokes. and
Yeah.
All right.
meanderings.
Colfax Avenue that runs through downtown Denver is the longest continuous street in America.
I always thought it was 28th Street.
Oh, in Grand Rapids.
yeah.
Michigan.
GR.
I guess
There's
not.
a long street, and it takes you forever to get down.
They
Because
didn't. Joe could have. Yeah, Joe would have been able to help us out with how long this is by feet or miles, maybe.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's miles.
I don't know.
I think maybe miles. It's miles. Every year, Denver hosts the world's largest indoor rodeo, the National Western Stock Show. Largest indoor rodeo. The world's largest flat-top mountain can be found in Grand Mesa. Flat-top mountain. I wonder
was the name
how
of
they.
that?
Pool table.
Pool table. It was the one near Creed that we went up. That was scary.
cool.
It was
That
scary,
was.
though.
There was not a lot of room.
And remember, we went up, came around a thing, and a moose was up there.
Yeah.
It was elk.
Elk jumped out of
yeah.
the trees, kind of, and we just saw its
That was surprising.
back end and back.
It was probably waiting for
basically.
us. Jumped out of the trees like, man, I can't wait till somebody comes by to scare these guys.
Yeah.
That was a big animal.
Yeah.
It wasn't a moose, though.
Was
I would
not.
like to see a moose. I've seen videos on YouTube. Those things we've talked about it before. They're huge. I mean, it's like
You go
a
to
horse on
Cabela's and
stilts.
you go to Cabela's and see one. I wonder if that's an average size moose that they've got at Cabela's, because that's a big big animal.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, even if it didn't have the antlers, can you imagine if it just kind of ran into you?
So you mean like a female?
You or the truck or what? Either or, is that what you're saying?
Just
Or
anything.
You, okay.
Just anything.
Yeah, it'd be
that
no
would
fun
not
to
feel
get
good.
personally, no.
No.
What is the weight of a bull elephant? You could be looking that up right now.
A
That would
elephant?
be interesting.
Wow, a bull elephant.
A bull
Elk or moose?
Oh, elk. I don't know.
Bull moose.
What is the weight of a bull elephant?
Moose?
Oh,
Oh,
No,
because they've got
elk.
elephant in Colorado. That's Drew's next.
Second mistake.
Well, you never know. What was that? What was it?
Walking with a leash
Camel
in
in
walking
California.
elephant in California.
I think
so
what's
don't
going to
walk
happen
me.
here is that you had one mistake in 19 episodes. I think you're going to have 19 in this.
Oh,
in
that's
this
two.
episode.
Wow.
Yep.
So
That's
you're in
got
your-
a lot to
you know
go
what you need to
here.
do? You need to reset. You're in your own head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
got
need a
the
break.
yips.
I've had a busy
You got
week.
some of the greats
I've had a
change their
busy
shirts,
week. I need to unplug.
whatever they do,
I
you
need
do.
some
You need a
me
vacation.
I need some me time.
Yeah,
You're going to get a
we're
vacation.
We're going to talk about that
You
here
get a little chance to
shortly.
reset, replug.
Vacation
Yeah,
from
yeah.
your problems.
People are excited about
Yeah.
hearing about this.
Let's get through this so Dad we can leave plenty of time for Dad.
The world's largest natural hot springs pool is located in Glenwood Springs, running 2 city blocks long.
How warm is that? Do you know? Does it say in there?
It does not say. Although I will say, remember when we were talking about what state was that we were looking at that they were
Alaska?
talking about the hot springs?
Alaska?
Maybe Alabama?
Or maybe
Arkansas?
Arkansas?
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
I think it was
Kansas.
Arkansas.
Yeah, okay.
I think it was Arkansas when they were talking about the geysers and whatnot. They're talking about the hot springs, and I thought that they said like 130 degrees or 135
Yeah, you're
degrees.
right, somewhere around
Because
there.
we were talking about, if you recall, you weren't here, but if you recall, I don't recall. If you recall, it was I was talking about the hot tub that we went into that was like 109
9.
degrees, and I was like, wow,
In Iowa?
that's
At the cabin in Iowa.
that's scorching.
You hadn't joined us yet.
No.
No.
Yeah.
He was holding out.
He wasn't
for
all
more
in
money.
yet.
He was holding out
as
for
Deshaun
more
would
money.
say. He wasn't all in yet.
Our podcast history is going to be pre-Badger and post-Badger,
Yep.
Before Badger. Yeah.
which is
DB.
pre.
Yeah.
Yep.
How much time we got?
About 6 minutes.
Okay.
So here we go. We got 4 Colorado weird laws,
All right.
and then we got 2 fun holidays.
All right,
Let's just jump right into them.
we're gonna have to.
Don't wait any longer. Tall dandelions and other weeds are banned in Pueblo. They can't be taller than 10 inches. So I don't know if anybody's getting their, measuring stick out or,
About that long?
yeah.
It's this long.
Yep. In Boulder, it's permitted to insult, taunt, or challenge police officers until they ask you to stop.
It's permitted?
It's permitted to.
Wow.
Yep. There's I think it was called fighting. I should have wrote that down.
Yeah.
I
Next
didn't
time. Get
come
'em
well
next time.
prepared. I didn't come well
We'll get
prepared.
them next time.
Yep. We'll move on. You can't drink and ride a horse at the same time in Boulder, which makes some sense because I think they allow you to ride horses in there. So, you don't want to be riding tipsy. Public
What
use
happens
of...
if you get? What happens if you're riding in a carriage with the horse, because it seems like
The horse is in the carriage with you?
Yes.
Okay.
No, the horse.
What's
you're
pulling the
riding-
horse?
The elk.
A
What's
carriage that is
pulling the
being
horse?
The elephant.
a carriage that is being pulled by a horse.
All right, I
So
knew
that-
what you meant.
Is that considered 2 vehicles then? So if you're driving drunk, then you could get
That's a double DUI.
double. Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't be.
I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't get
Double
that
Dewey.
part. Just riding a horse.
Okay.
That's what the law in the books is, riding the horse.
Yep.
You'd have to argue semantics if you were horse and buggy.
Yep.
I don't know. Public use of catapults, blowguns, slingshots, and the throwing of snowballs are unlawful in Aspen. Felt like that was really difficult to get through. I don't know why that was so
I
difficult.
feel like a lot of higher ups go there, like
Wait,
people from LA and all that stuff to ski and stuff, and they probably don't want to be hit by snowballs. And
probably
stuff like
don't.
that.
It seems like
They gotta keep it really nice and there.
But you do think about it, like a cat getting hit by something with a catapult.
yeah,
I feel like is a long cry from a snowball.
yeah, true.
But maybe they've had some incidents and they said, "Hey, enough's
Maybe
enough.
only
No
they
more
were
stuck in the
snowballs."
Middle Ages there
Huh?
Yeah.
in Aspen. When's the last time
Catapults?
you've heard of a catapult being
Well, a lot
used?
of these laws are stuck in the Middle Ages. I mean, a lot of these laws are from a long time ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
long time.
Slingshots
their
too.
act
I mean, when's the
together up
last
there.
time you used a slingshot? I had one when I was younger. I had a really
Seems like
nice
that's
one.
more
Yep.
accessible than a
Catapult.
catapult.
Well, don't build one and
I
use it.
feel like you, as a cop or something like that, you could figure out pretty quickly. Hey, that probably like somebody's building that. I mean,
Drove by that,
But,
yeah.
we need to
That
get that.
seems
You're
like
doing it
a
out in the
big-
open.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Okay, here we go. Fun holidays that we're going to have a very short time having fun with. Work Like a Dog Day
Okay.
is today for dogs work hard, I guess. And National Water Balloon Day, which is perfect
For a
on a
catapult.
day
a
like
nice
today
day.
because it's
Or catapults, you're right.
because it's warm out
Yeah.
They
today.
didn't say you
and-
couldn't catapult water balloons.
well,
So-
but you can't use catapults, so yeah, you wouldn't be able to
You
do
won't be
that.
able to do that. Wouldn't be able to use that in Aspen today.
Yeah.
All
Too
right.
bad.
Good thing we're not in Aspen.
True. And that's the end of it. Now let's talk about our little fun
2.5
vacay.
minutes.
Gotta do
Okay,
it quick.
So, well, why am I talking about it? Because I'm not in
That's not our
charge.
So
You're
we're
just
going,
on the
we're
ride.
going to Green Bay.
That's not true.
It's
You're
about
you
3
will be
hours
in
away
charge.
from here, right?
3 hours away from here.
In fact, the last time we were in that area, Appleton, you were very much in charge. I paid for the hotel, 1 room, and not everybody was there, but 1 room.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I couldn't find. I had a key. I had a key to the room.
It was just happenstance that I had both keys
You had
all
both
of a
keys to
sudden.
the room.
And
You
was
didn't even
telling
pay
us
for
where
it.
we were going to eat and
Yeah.
things like that.
Anyway,
So
Green
we're
Bay,
leaving
3
for
hours
Green Bay
away.
after, in the afternoon tomorrow on
Yes.
Saturday. We record this on Friday.
Yes.
And then we're traveling up there and staying in a Verbo, is it?
You
or
bet.
is it a
Airbnb.
Yep.
B&B? And then I don't know what we're going to do exactly.
Mhm.
We're going to look around Green Bay and
Fly
stuff
by
like
the
that.
seat of our pants. That's
But
the
then
best
some of
vacations
us-
you can have.
Some of us are coming back on Monday because we have jobs that no worky, no eaty. And other people, like you
yes.
and you, maybe,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
and you and maybe Deshaun will stay up there and go to the
Green Bay
Packer
Packers practice. Yes, that's kind of the reason we're going up. Joe and I were just going to go, and then
everybody-
we introduced it to the family, and
A bunch
and
of hikers jump on.
yeah, a bunch of other
Alrighty.
people said, "Let's do it."
That's our plan.
We still have a minute left.
Well, we have
just
to
turned
also
29
we have to.
What?
we-
We're okay. We have.
were you going to say something more about the
no,
thing?
no, that's it.
And then we want to thank Scott Johanek.
We sure do.
for being on.
Yep.
And talking about he does just about everything: real estate, real estate investor, entrepreneur. He's trying to build build back better.
Nice.
I think he's trying to do. And he's got some plans, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
It'll be a very good podcast. I think.
And what else do we want to do?
I don't know. We're gonna run over the
20
time.
seconds.
Yeah, we're gonna
Okay.
run over time.
Well,
Well, we thank you for joining us. We're sorry that it's so short. We wanted to give Demond some time to do this since we're going to be gone for 2 days. So thank you for joining us for the 19th episode, and we will see you later. Are you dying to see more content like that? Check out the video over here or subscribe over here. Thanks.